Hi there YouTube friends, welcome back to Auntie A's Kitchen. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. I'm not going to be sharing a recipe with you, but this video is dedicated to the best of UK biscuits. There can be confusion depending on what part of the world you live in when talking about biscuits. For example, in the UK, what we call biscuits, I believe, are called cookies in the US, and in the US, biscuits we would call scones. And if you'd like some traditional scone recipes, there are both long and short recipes on my channel. Now, I wanted to bring you some stats, so at the end of last year I posted on some British-related Facebook groups and I asked everyone if they could leave a comment of their drink of choice and their favourite biscuit for dipping, and I'm going to be sharing all of these results with you later in the video. So in the comments below, please let me know your favourite drink and biscuit, and if you haven't already, go grab a cup of tea and let's get started. When going into a supermarket in the UK, you'll see that McVitie's dominates the biscuit aisle as it's the most popular brand in the UK. The biscuit that the Scottish company started with was the humble digestive, but since then is expanded into many other types. Fox's, another popular brand, and depending on which supermarket you visit these days, each supermarket has their own version of the classic and popular biscuit, but at a cheaper price. So let's start with the pink wafer. You can also get this just plain, and it's a vanilla cream sandwiched between dyed pink weaved wafers. It's popular with children. It has a slight crunch to it, but it's not so good for dunking as when it gets soggy it falls apart. Another children's favourite are these colourful iced shortcake crunchy biscuits formed into a ring shape. I have many a memory of trying to put each of the different colours on each one of my fingers. But a quick side note, have you seen how small these have become, or maybe my hands have just got bigger? Next off is the Lotus Biscoff with its iconic shape of a lotus. It's one of the most popular biscuits around the world. It has a strong caramel cinnamon flavour. It is very crunchy yet just melts in your mouth, and it pairs really well with coffee. And if you like baking, they're great to use in the base of a no-bake cheesecake. Next up is the fruit shortcake. This is a light crunchy shortbread biscuit with raisins inside and a sprinkling of sugar on top. And another raisin biscuit worth mentioning here is the Garibaldi biscuit. I couldn't find any when I was in the UK. It has a slightly different texture and the fun nickname of dead fly or squash fly biscuits because of the raisins inside. Now I need your help with this next one, so in the comments please let me know what you think, as I wasn't sure whether to include these. As typically in the UK, as I've already mentioned, we consider a biscuit to be buttery, sweet and crunchy. For me personally, I would serve these in a lunchbox or at a birthday party or even a tea party alongside other cakes. After all, these are called tea cakes. And if you've never had them before, it's a light biscuit then topped with soft marshmallow and covered with a thin layer of chocolate. Next up we have some ginger crunch creams, and I believe Fox's do these in 3 other flavours, and these are a fondant cream sandwiched between 2 buttery ginger biscuits. This next biscuit is a plain flavour biscuit lightly covered with a scattering of large sugar crystals, and interesting enough it got its name because they're just nice to eat. Now Jaffa Cakes came in 13th place as a choice of biscuit to be had with a cup of tea, and some even like to dunk them. These have been legally classified as a cake, and they have a sponge base with a layer of orange jelly and then a layer of chocolate on top. For me, Jaffa Cakes are the Marmite of the biscuit world. You either love them or hate them, and you can tell what I think because I don't take a bite to show you a cross section. In 12th place is the Jammy Dodger, which got its name from a character, Roger the Dodger, from a popular comic book called The Beano. People like to have this biscuit with tea, coffee or milk. It's very popular with children, and it's a raspberry jam sandwiched between 2 shortcake biscuits. Next we have a British classic and also one of my favourites, so I was surprised to only see in 11th place the malted milk, or otherwise known as the cow biscuit because of the picture of the cow on the front of the biscuit that I'm holding upside down here. It has a malty flavour and it's great to have with tea, coffee or hot chocolate. In 10th place we have the late Queen Elizabeth's favourite biscuit, or Walker's Shortbread. These have a crunchy yet crumbly texture with a rich butter taste. These sophisticated biscuits go great to have alongside a tea or coffee, but strictly no dunking with these ones. They're only to be eaten with a drink. And if you're interested in some shortbread recipes, you'll find 2 on the channel. In 9th place we have a milk chocolate hobnob, and you can also get this in dark chocolate. They're a rustic biscuit made with rolled oats and covered in milk chocolate. They're great to have with tea, coffee and milk, but you've got to be careful if you're going to dip them not to get sticky fingers. Skipping to 7th place we have the Bourbon, or otherwise known as a Bourbon cream. This oblong chocolate biscuit has chocolate butternut cream sandwiched between crunchy biscuits, which gives it a strong structure. For some, this makes it perfect for dunking, but for others, it's just to be eaten alongside tea or coffee. In 6th place, we have the original plain OT hobnob biscuit, and I love a quote I once heard from a comedian, Peter Kay, who says hobnobs are the Marines of dunking. In 5th place, and some might say a distant relative of the Bourbon, we have the classic decorative custard cream. Vanilla buttercream sandwiched between 2 biscuits, giving it a strong structure and making it a clear favourite for being able to dunk this one in a drink of your choice several times. Now I've put these 2 together because in 8th place we have the dark chocolate digestive, but in 4th place we have the milk chocolate digestive. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you a creative way that someone's recommended how to eat a chocolate digestive without getting sticky fingers. So we've come to our top 3 biscuits, and in third place we have the classic rich tea. You can also get this covered in milk or dark chocolate, as well as rich tea fingers. They're sweet, crunchy, and have a rich, simple taste, hence the name, and they're the perfect snack to have between meals. They're also popular to dunk because they take on the flavour of the drink. In second place we have the plain digestive, and these got their name because they were first made with wheat and baking soda, and this was thought to help with digestion. Fast forward to today, they're a semi-sweet biscuit, and they're great to have with a variety of drinks or accompany with a cheese board, and they're also great to use as a base in a lot of cake recipes. So if you hadn't guessed already, in first place is the ginger nut, or otherwise known as a ginger snap, and this hard biscuit with a spicy ginger kick has no nuts in it, but it got its name because it's as hard as a nut, which makes them popular because when you dip them in your drink they don't disintegrate quickly. So in summary, here's a pie chart of what we just talked about, and if I were to do this again, I'd be more specific with my questions to ensure more accurate results. A big thank you to everyone who took time to leave a comment. I got so many responses, many people commenting in detail, and some comments got lots of likes. So for today, I've only included the comments in the results. But one thing I have learned from doing this fun survey is that in the UK, we have very diverse opinions when it comes to our biscuits and tea drinking. And here's a quick snapshot of just a few of the comments. No dunking, just dip. I like the crunch of a biscuit, so no dipping. Eat the biscuits with a drink, but no dunking. Choice of biscuit depends on what mood you're in. Certain biscuits in the morning, different ones should be eaten at night. Which biscuit you choose depends on what kind of drink you're having. All biscuits must be dunked. Dip or dunk all biscuits. If you have a biscuit, you must have a drink with it. McVitie's are good for 2 dunks. Tea with all McVitie's. And someone left a tip that if you leave a slice of bread in your biscuit tin, it's going to help the biscuits to stay fresher for longer. When it came to choice of drink, naturally tea came out on top, with several brands being mentioned as personal favourites. But I was also surprised to see how many people don't drink tea, like myself, so other drinks that were mentioned to have with the biscuit were black and white coffee, hot chocolate, or a glass of milk. People were also very particular about how dark your tea should be, but one thing everyone did agree on was that the tea must be very hot. There are 2 main times of the day when it's acceptable to have tea with a bicky. The first, mid-morning, otherwise known as 11sies, and I believe this started back in the Industrial Revolution when breakfast became earlier and lunch later, so tea and biscuits were given to workers to help energise and motivate them until lunchtime. The second, afternoon tea, which is not to be confused with a high tea, which is when servants would go and eat their main dinner, which is why you hear some of us calling dinner tea, or royal afternoon tea, which is where champagne is served. Afternoon tea is usually served somewhere between 3 and 5 p.m, and the Victorians had strict rules for this, that tea was to be served with 3 courses of finger sandwiches, scones, and then cakes. Not everyone could afford the full spread of an afternoon tea, but biscuits were more affordable, so this became the norm in households, saving afternoon tea for special occasions. And when it comes to dipping or dunking your biscuit, the Victorians would say this shouldn't be done in public, but these days it's just personal preference, but more importantly that when you do dunk, it's only for a few seconds. And in the video here, I show you a quick tip that someone gave me how to have your chocolate biscuit without getting sticky fingers. So thanks for watching, I hope you have a wonderful week, and I hope to see you in the next video.